And before we get into these unboxings, I gotta say I just saw the new Star Wars movie and it was awesome. Starting off with the first scene where, just right off. And that's what I liked about Star Wars. Today, in commemoration of Star Wars, we're going to be unboxing some very cool Black Series items and some limited edition items. But first, this is your Geek Fix. All right, with our workstation clear, we are ready for our unboxings. Like I said earlier, these are Black Series items. This one right here has a sticker that says it's only available at GameStop. The Black Series has a subcategory of Titanium Series, which is what these helmets are. The one on the left is Luke Skywalker's, and the one on the right is the fighter pilot. Doesn't say which fighter pilot, but apparently it's just one of them. And the accessories number 10. This says Luke Skywalker Red 5 specifically, and explains Luke Skywalker uses something called the Force. So, the unfortunate thing is that the Imperial fighter comes with a chest plate, whereas the Rebel does not, which I think would be cool if it did. So let's open it up and see what it's like on the inside. Standard Scotch tape sealing. I'd like to get it open without tearing it. There we go. Very nice. So, they both have stands. And it looks like there's also a chin piece right here for the Rebel helmet. Again, standard cellophane tape sealing. And this one is going to take a little bit. There are plastic ties that are in here holding this in place. I'm going to try and cut them. There we go. And over here. I will say that Hasbro started doing this thing where they seal items in using kind of stretchy, easy to break seals, so it makes it a little bit better for pulling out, although I just still pulled a part off. Hopefully it was meant to do that. Wow, you can feel the weight of it afterwards. Just looking at it, I thought it was pretty much plastic, but it turns out that it has some real weight to it. It looks like I can't see through the actual shield, but that part did hook back on. That's good. But overall, I mean, this is pretty highly detailed and very nice. Like I said, it has a really good weight to it. It's pretty heavy. The stand for this one, if you look closely on the inside, there is a little groove where this thing is supposed to hook. And so I think that's where it's supposed to go. So I'll give it a little push, and it does very nicely. Very cool. So here's one helmet. And now to pull out our other helmet, which is in there pretty good. Not as heavy as the other helmet, but it's already on that little stand. In fact, it's a little bit hard to pull off of it. And we have a chin strap here, which I'm not sure which way it's really supposed to go on. Let's see. I'm going to have to take it off just to reposition it. Or maybe I can't. Oh, no, I can. You have to... Oh, okay, that's something to know. So for this one, it also has some connectors right here. And the way that those connectors go on is that they slide like this. So in order for me to get it on or off, you really have to turn it and slide it. Otherwise, it doesn't just pull off, it appears. I wonder if that other one was supposed to be put on that way, because I did not put it on that way. I think that's pretty much it. And again, in order to get it on, I have to stick it into here first. Whoop, and pull it like that. I can't seem to get it on without undoing the chin strap though. So, I don't know. I might have to glue it into place. There we go. It's kind of adjustable, so if you push it all the way forward like this, it will pull that chin strap right off. So it's better to kind of have it tilted back a little bit. For the scale, I don't know if this is 1/12 scale, but whoops. Let's try putting this on Bruce Campbell. You know, it looks like it would be his size. But this is not made to be put on a figure. There's too many little things on the inside for being able to display it. For it to hook onto this, for example, you'd have to take this apart a little bit. And I don't know if all this comes out. It looks like there are some screws in here. It's possible that the inside comes out. I don't know. At any rate, that's our Black Series helmets, both of which are very cool, made for display. Another thing I don't like about this black one is that it does have the Star Wars logo on it, but the chest plate covers it up. So there's not really a way to display it where that would make sense, unless you did it backwards. But this one does pop on by pushing it up. Next, we've got our C-3PO and Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is Obi-Wan's ghosted version, or Force Spirit. On the back, it gives kind of the background of why he is dead, and why he would look like this, and the fact that he made appearances afterwards. And then the front, we have the window with Obi-Wan in the corner. So opening this up, again, a little bit of tape at the top. This time I'm going to cut it. And it comes in a clear plastic. Ooh, this is actual material. I'm actually surprised about this. I thought it was all just pure plastic. But what they've covered it with is a mesh material. So it kind of maintains that consistency of both the glowing and the transparency. It's kind of cool. So you can actually take his hood down. He's fairly posable. I would say just about as much as the other Obi-Wan from the Black Series. I think it might be the same mold. I'm sure it is. There's even the little hook right here for his lightsaber, which is not included. So it's a little strange. I guess he could use it if he had to, but you know, he is a spirit and probably doesn't take his lightsaber with him. You can take your clothes, but you can't take your lightsaber, apparently. So, at any rate, there he is. So that's Obi-Wan. Then we've got C-3PO. This is pretty standard C-3PO. As you can see, again, we have a description on one side, UPC and things on the other. A description again, and this one has a window at the top. Over here we have the window with C-3PO, a picture of him, and I'm going to open this one using a knife as well. He's a little bit more stiff, so it's a little harder to get him out. Whoops. Out of here. Oh, there we go. The same articulation that we typically get around the waist. Some good details of wires on the back and on the front. The gold paint's not too bad, but it's still not, you know, the one that I think was painted best was the one that I had when I was 5, which was which was pure plastic. It was a hard plastic, and it was very shiny. I mean, it definitely looked like C-3PO. The problem with it was you couldn't pose it at all. I mean, it wouldn't stand up. It was constantly falling down. It was a little bit too, it was too easy to articulate. Interestingly enough, though, the arms kind of articulate. They kind of move up and down. They do swivel, but you can't bend them at the elbow because there's the pistons on the elbows, so you can't bend that part. But on the other hand, at the knee, it just has the piston break off when you bend it. Also, it bends backward for some reason, which is a little bit odd. The toes do point, and it does articulate at the ankle. There's no swivel really at the hips, at least not too much. But in general, if you're trying to put him into some type of C-3PO pose, he does do it. There we go. That's C-3PO. So that brings us to our final item, which is the Landspeeder. I had a Landspeeder in 1977. It didn't look quite like this at all. But it did have the front that would open, and there was a sticker inside. I remember that. I remember that it was a single tone, and it still looked pretty cool, and I think it was very collectible. This Landspeeder looks pretty movie ready. When you look at the back, the details that they put on this are quite good. I mean, it looks weathered. There's some dents and some torn off paint. And then there's all these little details that weren't in my original Landspeeder. It also comes with Luke, and as you can see, he's dressed like he was on his home planet, but the items that come with it and the dress that he has is actually more consistent with the deleted scenes. Remember the scenes with the robot that made Three Stooges noises? That's the Luke that comes with this Landspeeder. So let's open it up. Again, cellophane tape on the side. Yeah, slides open easy enough. Pulling it out. The items inside are again secured, but it's with that weird transparent rubbery stuff that is easy enough to unply it with. Some things you can just pull it out, and that's basically it. And then I've got my window and my these instructions. I don't know if these are instructions or what that is. And then over here, our Luke. Does this pop out? It does pop out. Put that to the side then. Comes in clear plastic also. The lightsaber and the gun are secured using some tape, but for the most part they slide right out. The gun's pretty cool. Lightsaber, which I have a criticism about the lightsaber. I was wondering, I'll talk about that in a second. Got a hat, And got your binoculars or surveying binoculars, I don't know. And then of course there is Luke. Just pops right out. And there you go. Looks like he has, I'm going to take the cape off. Oh, he has a belt right here. Has a little hook here for his lightsaber, which is customary. There it goes. But interestingly enough, can't do much with it because it's static. It doesn't really fit. It's really more for him if he's going to be holding it and striking it around. But at the same time, for him to be just cruising the desert, it doesn't make sense that he'd have his lightsaber constantly out like that. So, for that reason, I don't know if this pops out. Oh, it does. Look at that. It does pop out. Good. And so I can hang that on his belt. There we go. Realistic looking. There's a lot of nice detail on the belt itself. Best articulation that we've seen today. The arms do move in multiple ways, and so do the wrists and hands. Although actually, the hand-wrist action is a little bit less than that of 3PO and Ben Kenobi, but his legs bend much better, and toe pointing is also better. We do have full twisting at the waist, and it looks like he can also crunch. So, yeah, way better. There you go, Luke Skywalker. So now let's go ahead and put this together. You'll notice that it has a stand with it, which is awesome. I'm going to put that onto the bottom first and foremost. It pops right into this little hole. And there it is. Look, it's hovering. In the movie, they had several different versions of the Landspeeder that they came up with. The one that they settled on was one that they could fit a small 3-wheel English car into. And so sometimes it is actually sitting on wheels. Other times they had things sticking into it, which from the side, which allowed them to swing it around to make it look like it was flying, or to make it look like it was hovering. So there's several different tricks used throughout it, and this little stand doesn't do a bad job either of looking like it's hovering. It is clear plastic, and for the most part, it's actually pretty indiscernible. On the back, we have our tail engine, which I'm going to stick on. Just slides on and clicks into place. Perfect. And last, we've got our window, which on my original Landspeeder, this was one of the first things to go. Also, it was a lot shorter, as I remember. It was a little bit less covering, but it scratched up almost immediately and got really dirty and then turned yellow. So this one looks pretty clean and not bad for riding around in the desert all day, but it does look more like glass than mine did. There's a little area in the back here for the feet to go for the other passengers. I'm going to put 3PO back there. But at least for 3PO, he doesn't seem to want to bend his legs enough to comfortably sit. I'm even just remembering it wrong. I could have sworn that's how he sat back there. But I don't know. It's going to be hard to make him look comfortable because he just doesn't fit right. Also, his legs won't bend enough, really, unless I really work him. Which it looks like plastics-wise. Oh, look at that. There we go. Sort of. There we go. That's not too bad. I guess he's still not fully sitting on it, but So you can fit that back there if you wanted to. The gun, I almost forgot about, clips right here on the side. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's it. You know what else? I'm not planning on Luke wearing his hood inside of the Landspeeder. So for that reason, I'm going to take it and roll it up like so. And then I can push it into the back here like that. And that kind of adds to the detail a little bit. So now Luke himself, in the episode I'm thinking of, first time that he's noticing something that he looks at through his binoculars, whether it's in the edited out version or later on when he runs into Ben Kenobi, I think we're only going to have the hat, and he can hold on to his yoke or steering wheel that's inside of the Landspeeder. And I can put his binoculars into his hands here, like that. And I have him where he's gazing off, and at the same time holding on to the steering wheel or the yoke. And so he sits pretty nicely. Again, I could also take C-3PO and put him over here as the passenger. About as good as he's going to get as well. But it's not bad as far as a toy goes.
Slow down, Luke. Don't forget the 3-second rule.
Something else about this is that the front does open and exposes the engine. I have no idea what kind of engine that is. It looks like a Hemi. I don't know. Has some good detail on it though. Something else to notice about it, this right here I think is the fuel intake, and this little part does come off for you to push something into. If you had some kind of hose or something and you want to make it look like it's refueling, you can put it in there. I understand that there's a special edition that they sold at the conferences that had a little button up here in the front that you could push and it would actually spin the engine, but that's not something I would need to be doing. Now, originally, the thing I should mention is that at the conferences where it initially sold, it was about $110. It went down to about $70. I think at most stores, it's still around $50, $60, which makes sense. I mean, it's a pretty collectible item. If you like this unboxing, please feel free and like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment below. Also, don't forget about our unboxing giveaway, which you can qualify for by liking and subscribing and then commenting below. Let us know what you thought about this item and if there's other items that you'd like to see us unbox. Until next time, this is your Geek Fix.